In what sort of a world do people really believe that the American borders are open? Oh, yes, it's probably a Fox News, Ted Cruz, and genocidal Governor Abbott world. What a load of horse shit. Now, just all last week, and once again today, I meet lovely, friendly Americans that say our border is open. So that is so entirely untrue that you're entering the realm of the Flat Earth Society. Now, open borders are like Schengen, where you can drive from France to Belgium to Holland to Germany to Luxembourg without any control whatsoever. I assure you that there are controls between the northern border, the Canadian border. I'm about 3.5 hours north of Montana, and I assure you that I go through a border control and they check my passport. The southern border is extremely controlled, and despite the fact that horrendous racists, populists, and fearmongers have put the blame on the Mexican people or Latin American people or whomever forever, that is a controlled border. That's why one needs a passport. Now, this fellow Abbott, and I just don't know what level, what depth of hell he should end up in, but of course he pretends to be a fundamentalist Christian. I guess the thou shalt not kill bit was lost on him. But this floating barricade that they're going to put in the Rio Grande, the one that if you get between the floating bits, there's actually razors. Otherwise, you try and hang on to it, you're pulled underneath and you drown. That is murder. We are signatories to international conventions for the rights of humans, the rights to claim asylum. Someone doesn't claim asylum through legal channels. One escapes persecution and then they claim asylum. That's how it works. But all of that is far, far too technical for this very basic conversation. That the point is that I've heard repeated, and they must be Murdoch Media or maybe one of the other fringe entities. Well, that's not fringe. I mean, that's sadly mainstream. One of these fringe elements that now are spreading this term, the borders are open. It's just so untrue. It just is utterly in the realm of stupid. And it's offensive. And it's offensive to just basic logic. If you want to stop illegal, informal migration, here's two techniques. One, put the blame on the people who hire the illegal, the informal migrants. Of course, remember, they're paying them way, way below normal wages. They're generally or often treating them very poorly because, of course, there's no recourse. There's no legal recourse. There's no union. There's nothing representing the people who are up doing these difficult jobs with no protection whatsoever. So trick one, catch the people who are hiring them. Don't blame the poor people from other parts of the world that have been evangelized and come up and try and make a living. Number two, second solution. This is straightforward. Remember the Marshall Plan after World War II? Remember when we were going to stop communism and flooded money into places like Italy and Greece and so forth and supported the development of healthy, sustainable democracies? Well, why don't we do that for Guatemala and Honduras and El Salvador? Because if you want to say to me that somehow little El Salvador is invading the United States, then not only are you stupid, but you're a racist. So let's flood money in there. Let's not support the powers that have supported the extreme fringe in those societies forever. And in fact, if you'd like a little history lesson, way back in the 1950s, a democratically elected government in Guatemala tried to redistribute land, tried to give people opportunity. And who blocked them and overthrew the government? Well, it was the United Fruit Company. United Fruit Company, which was at that point, American-owned company, didn't want all that democracy coming in. And then the Cold War, and hey, I'm not defending the Soviet Union, but let's not forget the Iran-Contra scandal. What were they doing? They were selling arms to Iran to raise money to then give weapons to the right-wing militia in Central America to stop the spread of communism. Was that the right thing to do? another discussion for another day. But I do know who the victims were. And the victims were the people of Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador. And then the evangelical missionaries went in there and told everyone that the chosen land is up north. So go take your people and move up north and you'll be saved. And so the mother who straps her child onto her back and walks 3,000 miles to a border to give that child opportunity is now being accused of walking across an open border. That is a load of crap. So not only is it just fundamentally wrong, it is so deeply offensive, and it's the antithesis of what I've told anyway, is a Christian value. So let's just buck up and be honest about how borders work, because this is utterly just so frustratingly ridiculous that I don't know, I have to say something, and so that's what TikTok's for, I guess.